Happy Sunday, market makers. Guys, it's Brendan from Market Makers. I didn't do a video yesterday because we just had a bunch of sideways action, nothing really to report. However, if you look at this, BTC is coiling up like a snake, guys, and I think we're going to get another pump out of it. So let's look at the patterns at play. But real quick, guys, Discord information is in the video description. Come check us out, guys. Explosive growth in the room. We are a trading room. We have holders. We have everybody there. Trade signals, everything you want. Really appreciate if you guys could like the video and subscribe. Thank you so much for the support. Guys, the baby butterfly, right? Is this pattern still valid? We have sideways chop. Yes, it's 100% still valid, guys, because what happens is price flows in this direction, okay? And what it's doing now is just sideways. It doesn't violate any of the fibs. It won't violate the fibs unless it just blasts off through here or comes back down, or it makes enough chop back and forth that it forms some other pattern. Then I would look at the most recent pattern, most current pattern to trade, okay? But this is where I see the pump possibly going to, okay? Again, we have the 51,744 to validate this pattern, which is the PRZ. This is an overthrow extension for this pattern, so it's still valid anywhere in this red box as far as I'm concerned, and the corrective market structure is right there at 52. I watched Crypto Savvy's video yesterday. It may have been from Friday night or it was Saturday day when he made the video, but he was saying we hit the 618. On my using Femex, we came 40 points short of the 618. However, if you look at Bitfinex, we did hit it. So it really depends on your exchange. So he's counting that as a hit. So we did hit the golden pocket, which means our macro Gartley is valid for point B at this juncture. Okay, but we're going to get to that. So the baby butterfly, guys, if we do get up here and validate this pattern and we get a pump somewhere in this red box and we start to roll back down, again, that's when you'll see Bitcoin descend. I watched Gareth Soloway this morning. He updated his prediction to be 55 to 57K is the ceiling. And then he said 20K Bitcoin and most likely in the teens. And he said anything under 20K, he's accumulating lots of. So, again, guys, there's a lot of people that think like I do. Granted, it's still the minority opinion. The majority still think, 75K Bitcoin is around the corner and 1 billion Ethereum, okay? So those channels are there. You can watch those channels if this channel triggers you. This is not a safe space for FOMO. There's no FOMO here. We just trade in the market that we have. So we're looking to see this pattern get validated. I want to see this price punch up through the golden pocket, validate this pattern, and then begin to roll over and descend. And then let's look at the other patterns. How could we get up there? What are some possibilities using harmonics to climb into the golden pocket? Well, here's an ABCD pattern. This is a bullish pattern. If price does decide to decline some point along this fib, 49,242, you can get a very nice bounce, okay? We can get a nice bounce down and then a bounce up and hopefully get us into that pattern. It all depends on the velocity in the market. And let's check the longs and shorts real quick. The longs are still declining, guys. There's nothing going on. Nobody's excited about 50K Bitcoin at the moment in leverage world. And the shorts are still literally flat, like extremely flat. Everybody's waiting to see what happens, okay? That's what's happening here. So this pattern could validate and bounce us up into the golden pocket. That's a ABC harmonic. And then let's see what other patterns there are outside of the big macro Gartley. So we're also trading, this is an ABCD pattern as well. This is in addition to that butterfly. So you could say, well, what happens if we blow through this 53,196? Where can you get to after that in harmonics and still have a bearish pattern? Well, the answer to that is this ABCD pattern, okay? It's the exact same setup. You can see where the butterfly would be right here. But this gets you with the 2618 extension to 55K Bitcoin, okay? And again, another bearish pattern. Price flows just as it is right here, bounces up, and at some point extends up, hits this mark, makes a roof, and starts coming down, okay? That's an extension to 55K. Now, there's other patterns at play, of course, because pattern trading, you're always looking at different time frames. You're always looking at the patterns that can become other patterns, macro patterns, micro patterns. And so I'm looking at all the examples here because Savvy was saying 57.2 is his ceiling. He said you have to break 57.2, then he'll get more bullish on the market. Gareth Soloway was saying 55, 57. Well, guys, I have a pattern for that I've had for, over a month now. That is the macro Gartley, okay? Look at the macro Gartley. The 618 was already hit according to Bitfinex, right? Within 40 points on Femex. So the 618 was already validated. That means this point B is validated, which means you would technically be beginning your B retracement. Now you can still pump. People say, well, how high can it pump? It can pump up to the 786, guys, which is at 57,259. So keep that in mind. It just doesn't touch the 786. It can come right just before it at 57,258. Okay, it can come right up to it as long as it doesn't touch it. And this is still a valid Gartley pattern. You just redraw it. You have this wiggle room in the fib. So there's your 57.2 number that Savvy's talking about. 57.2. If you get beyond this, he's more bullish in the market. And look where that gets you. 57.2. You're up here in these candle clusters for support. And if you look at the volume off to the right, this is a whole bull run, guys, on the 4-hour time frame. If you can get to 57.2, you have this really fat volume candle as support, okay? And then you have this candle as support, and you pump through all this weak, dead volume. Now, you have a whole separate problem up here because you're getting near the top and then you have really low volume and then everything fell apart. But that's besides the point. The point is this macro Gartley is 100% still in play. And guys, just remember this 618, this can come all the way down. All the way. I just didn't draw it down here because as long as point C doesn't come down to A, this is all still valid. So you could come all the way down back into the low 30s, high 20s, and then bounce back up. So there's a range here, my friends. And after we start actually moving along the pattern in the C retracement, if we get this pump and then come back down, I'll draw this so you can see it. Of course, all married to the fibs. It's not moving goalposts, my friends. It is a pattern that has parameters, and you draw it one way and you can move it in the parameters themselves, okay? It's still a valid pattern. So keep that in mind. This is 100% in play. The baby butterfly is 100% in play. If we don't get this pump and we end up just rolling down or we blast off through here, again, another harmonic pattern is in play for that, which is the ABCD pattern. And this also is a bearish pattern that gets you to 55. So I got all the bases covered with harmonics. You have the butterfly getting you up to 53,200. You have a bullish pattern to get you into the golden pocket if Bitcoin decides to fall down some and find support at 49.2. And you have an ABCD pattern getting you up to 55K beyond the butterfly. And you have the macro Gartley, which can go up to 57,273 or 57,259. I'm sorry, 57,259 and still be 100% valid. Okay, no matter what Bitcoin does at this juncture, it is trading in a bearish pattern. Okay, that's what you need to understand. Everything is bearish. People keep saying, show me bullish patterns. There's not a bullish pattern to show you at a macro level. Bitcoin is in a bearish Gartley, validated already on point B. Technically, you're on the C retracement. If we get a pump up, as long as it doesn't go past 57.2, you are still in a bearish Gartley and you will start to descend. Okay, so 75K Bitcoin is not coming if this continues to play out. And again, this is the most immediate threat because Bitcoin just has to pump up a 1,000, almost 2,000 points, 1,400, 1,500 points, and you're validating the butterfly, and then you're going to descend from there. So guys, everything is bearish on Bitcoin. And again, nobody wants Bitcoin to crash and burn, my friends. I plan on accumulating a lot of Bitcoin at the bottom. Not here. This is the market top. This is the bear market top. You're on a bear market for 4 months come September 12th. 4 months, Bitcoin has been higher than minus 20%. Okay, as much as minus 55%. Gareth Soloway said in his video that he put out, people talking about 100K Bitcoin, he said there's always a possibility. He said, but not in one single bull run did Bitcoin correct over 50% and then bounce back up to a second leg higher than the previous high. Not one single bull run. So there's always a first time for everything. But his overall thesis, Crypto Savvy, myself, I'm sure there's others, maybe Crypto Kirby, maybe some other people, other analysts, we all believe, I think, it has to come down to a bottom to come back up, okay? And that could take months. It could be months of range trading in different levels between 40 and 30, 35 and 25. It could take a long time, guys. Like Dominic Frisby said, many months of painful consolidation, most likely in range trading before you get to a bottom, which is excellent if you are in the right room for trading, okay? Whether you're buying spot, buying and selling coins, you need to understand the market structure, understand tops and bottoms, my friends, because there's a lot of money to be made in this market. The baby butterfly and the macro Gartley. The macro Gartley continues to get validated, and we know the levels where this can drop, and we know the levels to where it can pop. So guys, keep an eye on the patterns today. Bitcoin looks like it's coiling up like a snake. As you can see, to me, this looks like it's going to be explosive at some point. And when I look at, let me go to the current time frame. Let me look at the ATR. I think the ATR is dropping. It has to be, yeah. So I have a baseline for my ATR. So the way ATR works, guys, because we use this in Forex all the time. This is like the #1 tool in Forex. When you come down to a baseline of low volatility, that means the candles are close together. This measurement just measures volatility, okay? Wells invented this, the guy that invented the RSI, but it measures volatility. When it rests for a period of time, could be an hour, could be a day, could be a week, it will explode up, okay? And you can see that over and over again with Bitcoin. It's a very volatile asset, and when it explodes up, you get movements, okay, after periods of rest. So let's see what happens with this. I think it's gearing up for an explosion. We don't know how high, but I hope it's high enough to get us into the golden pocket and get some trades in, guys. You guys have a fantastic Sunday with your friends and family, and we will talk again soon, my friends.